I've worked with hundreds of people over the years who were exercising and eating right, but they still hadn't reached the level of health that they were really looking for. And it's because there was a giant missing piece. They weren't effectively managing the toxins that they were being exposed to on a regular basis. And in this video, we are going to focus on man-made chemicals, and we're going to narrow it down even more to the ones in and around your house. My name is Andrea. I'm a naturopathic practitioner and registered nurse, and my career has been helping people create a level of health and wellness that far exceeded their expectations. And that's what this channel is all about. So if there are chemicals in the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the furniture we sit on, how is it possible to have great health? This is how. Very simply, we are going to minimize our exposure wherever possible. We're going to take action to offset any potential danger. And for the things that we just can't do anything about, we are going to detox for those. And I know that thinking about all the toxicities that we're exposed to can be overwhelming and anxiety producing. And people just want to put blinders on because it's too stressful and depressing. And I totally get that. But if you're serious about your health, then you really have to accept that this is the reality of the world we live in and that knowledge is power. And I'm going to show you how to claim your power. So let's start with your house itself. Do you have carpet? Carpet is a breeding ground for all kinds of pathogens. And even if you are vacuuming all the time or washing your carpet, that by itself is a little bit of a problem because of all the chemicals, the dangerous chemicals that are in carpet cleaners. New carpets outgas chemicals a lot for the first 48 to 72 hours, but they can continue releasing chemicals into the air for 5 years or more. Same thing with furniture and mattresses and curtains. I had a client one time that had severe lung disease, and she needed a lung transplant, but she had declined. And she was in her 60s, I think, and had never smoked. And she was coming down with pneumonia, going to the hospital, getting a ton of antibiotics, get sent home. 2 weeks later, back in the hospital with pneumonia, again, more antibiotics, sent home, back in the hospital. I mean, this just went on and on. And so someone referred her to me, and her husband came to see me at my health center. And I just did a life assessment. And what I ended up recommending is that they get rid of the carpet and the curtains and all that in their house. Well, they did one better. They assessed their situation and they sold their house. Now, I did not recommend that, but they felt that was the thing they wanted to do. They sold their house. They got a condo, and it had hardwood floors and blinds instead of curtains. I recommended some supplements that she could take to help strengthen her lungs and really increase her overall level of health, because she was pretty frail by the time she came to see me. And she lived a few more years, never had pneumonia again, didn't end up back in the hospital. Her lung disease could not be reversed because that damage was permanent. But she and her husband were able to have some real quality time in those last years together. They spent time with their kids, their grandkids. They traveled a lot. So she went from having a very poor quality of life when I first met her to having a great quality of life for the time that she had left. And I don't believe that she would have had that good of an outcome had she just done supplements and not removed those toxins out of her living space, which for her was definitely a real problem. And I know that we are a supplement and pharmaceutical loving society, but they're only going to take you so far. You really have to minimize your exposure. Now, I don't have any carpet anywhere in my house, but I do have some furniture because I don't want to sit on the floor. So, to offset the outgassing that I know happens, what I have done is I have put spider plants in each of those rooms. And plants do an amazing job at taking toxins out of the air. And I chose spider plants because NASA, not Andrea, NASA said they're in the top 3 plants that are really good for removing things like formaldehyde, which is one of the chemicals that are often found in furniture, especially furniture that uses particle board as its base, which a lot of them do these days, and cabinetry, and there's particle board in a lot of things. And formaldehyde is used in embalming fluid. It is a carcinogen, and prolonged exposure can definitely lead to respiratory disease. Spider plants also can remove carbon monoxide from the air. So I considered this because I have gas heat. I have gas fireplaces and gas heaters. And, they're not emitting a lot of toxins, but they are emitting some. And also, if you have a garage attached to your house, that would be can be another big source of carbon monoxide. Spider plants also remove benzene. Benzene is in a lot of building materials like construction glue, but also paints, furniture wax, detergents. It's also a known carcinogen, and it can cause respiratory damage. And it can also be released from gas ovens and stoves and other kinds of fuel-based heat. So other good filtration plants include Boston ferns and English ivy, but go online and do some research and see what's available out there once you kind of determine what toxicities you have, particularly in your house. Another thing that I do is I keep an air purifier running 24/7. And that just takes any toxins, again, more toxins out of the air. If you don't have one and you are thinking about getting one, choose one that filters very, very tiny particles. So you want like 0.1 to 0.3 microns, because then that will also take care of mold spores and bacteria and viruses. So air filtration systems are awesome. You also want to maintain good ventilation. So open or crack some windows. Assuming you live in an area where the outdoor air is healthier than the indoor air. And the EPA, again, not me, the EPA says that indoor air quality is often 2 to 5 times more polluted than outdoor air quality. So I keep my windows open all the time that the weather allows it. And even in the winter, I keep windows cracked. So in the room with the fireplace, in the room with the heater, anything that's running, I keep the window cracked to allow for some better ventilation. So these are just a few ways that you can offset potential damage. We may not have control over all the toxins around us, but we do have some control how we manage our exposures. So I have created a little infographic for you that shows some of the chemicals that are almost certainly in your house or around your house, the damage that they create, how they affect your health, what they're found in, and more importantly, what you can do to offset some of that potential damage. So be sure you download that. So here is a good rule of thumb. The really, really toxic stuff just needs to go. The less toxic stuff that you're exposed to on a daily or a regular basis, try to switch that out with a healthier alternative. So, for example, I'll get back to the furniture. You can look into green furniture or organic furniture. Also, don't forget mattresses and mattress toppers. Bed sheets can contain chemicals like formaldehyde, and those are usually found in the wrinkle-free sheets. So they also can include pesticides from cotton farming. Yeah, who would think of these things? And synthetic dyes. So organic sheets can be a better option. Now, all this stuff, yes, is going to be more expensive. It just is. But to make it more manageable, what you can do is decide which ones you really need to replace and then save up and replace one piece at a time. And if you just do this on a continual basis, then eventually you can significantly decrease the toxic exposure in your house. So that's really pretty awesome, because remember, it's never one thing by itself that's a health buster. It's the cumulative effect of all of the things that we're exposed to over time that wear the body out. You know, if you're thinking, well, you know, there's just so many, I can't get rid of all these toxins. No, you can't. You're absolutely right, and you don't have to. It is incredible how much of a benefit you get if you can reduce your toxicity by even 50%, if you can even get there. Really, the change to health is amazing. So I hope this is making sense to you and gives you some hope and some tools that you can use to start offsetting potential health damage. Great health is possible even in our toxic world, as long as you don't ignore it. Yeah, take the blinders off. There are things you can and should do. So don't forget to download that free infographic that I made, because I think it's really going to help you claim your power. Wishing you endless health and happiness.